The beauty of rowing, you see, is that when you're out there, nothing from the land can touch you, really. You're separate. And the water it's lovely. You know, some people approach it as a passive element, and they just, you know, it's just there, and they have to sort of beat it into submission and make the boat go. But that's certainly not the most efficient way. In understanding the water, understanding the movements, you just have to have rowed for a long time and taken a lot of strokes. And the understanding, again, there is no sort of cognitive, mental understanding. It's just a feeling. You feel what the boat's doing, what the water's doing, and you feel exactly when you have to put the oars in the water and exactly when they have to come out. And those are really precise moments. I mean, there really is no hedging on that. I mean, to be done right, it has to be done exactly right. You definitely have a relationship with your boat. When people talk about, you know, different boats, you know, measurably, the boats are probably all the same. But again, when you get back to, you know, to the human side of it, which is immeasurable, the boat is a feeling. The boat's, you know, it's like a lover.
£3. How long is it? 26 feet. And look at that wood, brother. You've almost got to worship it. The years it took to grow. And you know, you look at it and you see some years that it almost perished. Sometimes there'd be hardly a grain, that it practically was inert, didn't grow at all. And then moisture came again and away she went. There's a sense of fulfillment when you build a good boat, looking at it, a sense of fulfillment, of good craftsmanship. I don't care whether it's rowing or whether it's skiing or what. You've got to acquire a technique. to fulfill that sense of good craftsmanship.
Well, of course, I've been connected with the rowing game in just about every aspect of it, and I've enjoyed it all. To me, the greatest enjoyment is, aside from building the boats and the enjoyment out of making something beautiful, is watching them being rowed, watching what the game is all about. The whole idea of the thing is to make a very delicate thing go fast. Gonna warm it up. Okay, there it is.
The knowledge of rowing of a coach is less important than the ability of leadership, impressing young men. It's like good generals. They're few and far between. The men won't give up their lives. But they told me that when Napoleon was taking his troops into action, he would just stand at the tent, and these generals would come out and his officers, and he'd just look at them, and that's all. That's all. Just shake hands and look at them. Leadership.
Pulling out early. Good pressure all the way in.
Most people, I don't think, appreciate just how hard rowing is or can be, and how much effort is really involved. And it takes quite a while for anybody to develop the condition or the stamina to row hard for very long.
Oh, cut the rod for now to the running full length. Hey, something off now. What do you say?
The program, the training program, consists primarily of rowing. The more rowing you do and the harder and the better, why then the faster you're going to be able to make a boat go in a race. But it's an excellent way for the oarsman to realize just how much distress the body is capable of enduring.
All right, push it. Free and open. Well, leave. Not yet, Mark. Okay. Right to the boat. Ready? Fiddle! Right up here. Dive! Go for iron! Hey, good starboard.
But the whole question of whether the year-long training, or most of the year-long training, and the amount of work required is worth it is pretty easy to answer. If it wasn't worth it, the oarsman wouldn't do it. One sort of difficult aspect of coaching that troubles me is trying to draw the line between your own personal ambitions and the ambitions of your oarsmen. At what point is the program geared to helping them achieve their goals? Or are you, in fact, striving to enhance your own sense of accomplishment and, in a sense, using them to help you do that? It's a difficult question because coaches are competitive with one another.
In rowing, of course, there are many, many young men that are participating in the university or in the college for the very first time. Many of the best oarsmen we've had have been the walk-ons, the new fellows. But yes, we do recruit external. We send letters, we encourage, we watch fellows when they race in the rowing courses, and we'd hope to sell our education in our school. But we just as much encourage a lightweight or a heavyweight oarsman, a girl coxswain, a girl manager, or whatever. Because if they're interested in rowing, obviously we want them here.
Okay, hold right there, Hagen. Good. Here we go. Ready all. Ready, row.
Reaching out now, hands out together.
It takes a pure masochist, I guess, to kind of stay with our sport. It's 12 months, and it's really hell at times. But it has infinite beauty. It's graceful, it's masculine, it's feminine, all wrapped up in one. It has grace and poise of a ballerina in gymnastics, and it has drive and explosive power of incredible masculinity.
It hurts a lot, but they quickly find out that no matter how much it hurts, you can keep doing it. And we hope that that'll carry over in their racing, that they realize when they're racing really hard that the body's going to say no, I don't want to do this, but they find out that they can make the body keep doing it, and they can make the boat keep going fast. And the people who learn this best are the ones that win the races. Basically, I'm thinking in terms of how do I get these fellows to row really well and to appreciate what good rowing really is. How can I get them to really develop a sensitivity to the oars, the equipment that they're using, and to the motions that they're trying to follow. When you're rowing well, there's a sense of mastery over yourself and the elements that it's very hard to achieve in other sports.
All right, baby. Stop. Let's have hands on. Ready? Dip. Starboard side's under. Ready? Up. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, you missed it. You know, it's easy.
Are you pulling hard?
Sure.
Well, now you think.
Well, you pull hard, but the swing was there so that you could really get on the catch.
Oh, boy.
You get tired right after the race, especially if we sprinted the last 30.
Yeah.
We took it up a few.
And moved out.
Yeah.
Real nice.
You get really tired. But, you know, we're in shape. We recovered.
Yeah, that was the funny thing, you know.
As soon as I started shaking. shaking.
The private schools in England had rowing because it was a good morale builder and a good spirit builder and a good sort of manhood builder, and so the rowing has been instituted in prep schools in this country for a long time, and some prep schools take the rowing very seriously.
The founder of the school here was a very ardent crew person, having coxed at Columbia, and was really instrumental in a lot of early American rowing. And the fact that the school is on this river is no accident. He put it here on purpose, although it took him 18 years to get crews started. This business of rowing being sport for the elite or what have you, I'm sure is an image that the sport has had over the years. Primarily, I guess, because in this country it's been a sport in the universities to start with, and then in the rowing clubs, which are primarily made up of alumni and graduates of the universities. So I guess I can see where this image has come from. I'd love to see us get more local rowing clubs where you could have these town regattas. England, for example, has one regatta after another, and it's just great fun. If we can get kids into boats, I think they're going to learn what I hope are some real values from the sport as far as self-sacrifice and what real sportsmanship requires and what real hard work is. And this is coming slowly, much slower than a lot of us would like to see, but I think it is coming. And the idea there is to take our National Association and use it as a vehicle to spread the base of rowing in this country. We really need it if we're going to compete internationally. The United States has just formed a Women's Olympic Rowing Committee for the first time. There's a National Women's Rowing Association that has done a great deal to promote the sport. Now, places like Wellesley College have had rowing for years.
I don't think that they are more competitive than men, but I think in their own right that women have decided that this is something that they really want to do. At least the women at Wellesley have. Most of the schools that are now on an exchange program or do have women have gotten a lot of pressure from the women to use their equipment. So they either have to give in or the women go out and buy their own, which is essentially what we did. I think that once something becomes well enough known to be selected as a sport for the Olympics, that it no longer becomes a one-sex dominated sport. And I'm sure that women's crew will become more and more and more popular. After all, it's grown, you know, probably fourfold in the last 4 years.
We have a problem in that we don't have a long history of competition in rowing, and there's just a lot of things we don't know. You know, like women are not built the same as men. They need different equipment. They need to learn how to train. We're trying now to make use of what we know about training in women in both swimming and in track. But it's going to be a long, slow process, I think, of actually learning how to compete and how to train women.
Rowing is a pretty vigorous sport, and you would tend to think that it's really the realm of young people, but there are really a number of actually quite old people that still row.
I think rowing has a great deal to offer almost anybody at almost any age. Even when you get to be an old man over 40, you can row in a veterans race with a handicap that we hope is fair. The rewards are physical, and rowing is still a true amateur sport. You make friends with your opponents, and we have a lot of fun at beer parties after regattas.
I learned more at Yale, I think, out of rowing than almost anything else that I learned. I learned a lot about men. You learned a lot about how to handle men. You learned how to give them courage and leadership, and at the same time how to force people that don't want to, that have got the physical strength but haven't got the spirit. It's a grueling sport, you know. You think after the first 100 yards you're about finished, but you go on your nerve the rest of the time. You find you can keep going. It does a lot for your character, I think, and also is a tremendous team spirit. It's the rhythm of the crew, that the way they row together, that wins races. The courage, the determination of the stroke is very important. Then the little coxswain has a role to play too, and you have to. I've always been a believer in having a coxswain that the crew respected, because during the race he can pull them together.
One stroke stubber. Now, ollie.
I guess the oarsmen would all say that the coxswain isn't really needed. In the small boats, they aren't. When you start rowing an 8, the boat begins to get pretty unwieldy, and somebody is needed just to steer it. The way we do it here, coxswain's job is a lot more complex. It involves, of course, the basics of steering, But also it involves a kind of combination between cajoling and teaching.
Well, lock arms together and you really open up. Finish it out. No tear now. No rushing. 3/4, 3/3, and all. On this one, 3/4.
There's a real problem with having so many different individuals and how they approach what is a really very intense and very painful physical thing. Getting them to approach it, the fact that they're putting out, working hard, and yet your job and the job of the crew collectively is to make them do more. And very often you have a feeling that the best strategy is to be a little nasty. Sometimes you have the feeling that, not that you have complete control over what people are doing, but that you're somehow trying to cajole, to manipulate, to wheedle, to encourage guys to doing something which you think will pay off in speed. And when you have a boat going really fast, you have that feeling of it swinging.
Most boats spend their training time searching for what oarsmen call swing, which is that movement of the boat precisely together. And that's what really enables a boat to rise above the sum of its parts. The boat sort of jumps, it just picks up out of the water. And you feel as if all the power that's in that boat is right on the end of your own oar. And it's an incredibly explosive feeling. I don't think any other sport can match it. You feel as if that boat is being moved by you and you alone.
It's a great art, is rowing. It's the finest art there is. It's symphony of motion. When you're doing well, why, it's nearing perfection. And when you reach perfection, you're touching the divine. It touches the you of you, which is your soul.